you sleep? What if I told you that Google is increasingly where your clients will not see you anymore? SEO is not enough, I'm sorry, anymore. So you could already be invisible in places and don't even know it. Let's talk about AEO is better than SEO. Okay. So we're going to talk about it from this week's blog, which is AEO, the visibility strategy for growth. And you can find it and follow along with us at shaycannon.com/AEO. That's shaycannon.com/AEO. All right. Now let's get into the blog. All right. Visibility is a huge driver of business growth. Most of you, as entrepreneurs, you already lean in on or know about speaking engagements, contributing articles and writing. You know about media features, you know about social media, and you even know about traditional SEO. Now, if you go to the blog, we've talked about these subject matters before, and I have them hyperlinked in this sentence for you to go back and check them out if you want to. But other than these things to be seen and heard, something else is on the horizon, and I'm going to introduce you to it today. Now, I am not introducing you to it as an expert. I'm introducing you to it as someone who's been researching it as something I know coming down the pipeline. Okay. So I've gathered some information to start sharing with you so that you know what I know. Okay. Now, in today's rapidly shifting digital landscape, there's a new player in visibility that may matter more than all the rest combined. A strategy that ensures your expertise doesn't just sit online waiting to be found, but it's actively surfacing, okay, through these tools that people now trust to find answers. So for us as entrepreneurs, we can't afford to waste time shouting out in the void and, just waiting to see how our visibility works out. I want to introduce to you AEO, okay? Because AEO is the new SEO. It's not just about search engine optimization, SEO, anymore. It's about AEO, which is answer engine optimization, okay? It can also be called generative engine optimization or GEO, but I don't use that because that gets people confused with geographical stuff. So I don't use the GEO. I always use AEO, answer engine optimization. Okay, so traditional SEO focuses on ranking your website on Google, but AI driven tools now deliver answers directly to users without them having to click on stuff. Okay, you ask the question and your answer comes up, and they're pulling that answer from these sources and platforms and content that has the best answers the way that they want to pull them. Okay, so to get found and to get clients, your content needs to be structured so that the answer engines, AEs, recognize you as the trusted source. The goal isn't just SEO ranking anymore, it's being the answer that AI chooses so potential clients see, trust, and engage with you first. Now, before we move on, I want to know, do you have any questions about what AEO is? Do you understand the parallel of it to SEO? Any questions about that? Because I don't want to move into strategies and you like, well, hell, I don't even know what it is. So any questions on that part yet? Everybody kind of get it? If, who's heard of it before? Come off the mic and just tell me, have you heard of AEO before? Even if you didn't know the
I
name of
have.
it was AEO. Okay,
Yeah, but I
Cheryl
didn't know
Mhm.
has.
that's what it was called.
Heather has. Okay, cool beans. Anybody else? Let me
Yes,
check.
but I know I definitely didn't dig the way you digging.
Oh, baby, you know I
Yeah,
dug. I
yeah. They're
dug.
offering a course. One of these people, Course Serve or something or other.
Mhm.
They're offering
Of
a
course.
course on it this week in a challenge.
Mhm. Love it, love it. All right. Well, since most of you kind of know what it is, right? I'm going to give you one more example, and that is those of us using things like ChatGPT. We ask it questions, and it goes off onto the web in different places and pulls succinct answers. Right? You want to be a part of the pool of expert platforms that it's pulling from to give people the answers. Because if you have not noticed, most often when they give an answer associated with somewhere on the web, they also give you this little link icon, and you can click it and it'll take you to where they got the answer from. We want to be the source of where they got the answer from, and that is AE, answer engines optimization with the O. Okay, so what I want to talk about now. Okay, so listen up. You might want to take some notes, or you might want to watch this replay, because this is going to be one of those weeks that it's a great source for you to start finding out more and do your own digging. Okay, so I have the top 10 answer driven AI tools and strategies to get started being indexed and included in their results. Yep, I did a deep dive and I'm going to share it with you. Okay, this is some good stuff. So let me pull this where I can see it. All right, cool beans. The number one platform that is an answer driven AI tool is going to be ChatGPT. Okay, we already knew that was coming. That was easy, right? But how do we get indexed and included in their results? Well, to get started with that, we're going to understand that ChatGPT pulls its training data and when it's browsing enabled from live sources. Okay, live sources. So to get noticed, make sure your website is crawlable with a sitemap. So you're over there blogging. So the same blogs that you want to be SEO indexed, you also want them to be AEO indexed. So we have to make them crawlable by having a sitemap. Okay. We want to use structured data or schema. Okay. Research that a little more if you need to know more about that. And we are linked to high authority sites and publications. See, this is where those that media, that public relations, and that contributing writing comes back in. Those backlinks are important to give you higher authority. We want to be linked to other places. This is kind of proof that we're worth the expertise we say we have is very credible. So since OpenAI tends to favor content that's been cited elsewhere, okay, republishing your content in a frequently asked questions style like Q&A lists or concise answers also increases the odds of being used in generated responses. Okay, yep, this is going to be one of those days you need to show notes. Okay, the number two answer driven AI tool is Perplexity. Okay, Perplexity cites and links to sources directly prioritizing fresh, clear, and cited information. So to get indexed, publish your content on your own domain with regular updates. Include citations and outbound links to credible sources. So this is not, when I say citations and outbound links to credible sources, I'm not saying backlinks to things where you've been featured. I'm talking about links to credible sites and articles where they agree with you. Okay. Include that and submit your site via its feedback and content submissions options. So Perplexity allows your webmaster, your website developers and all that to suggest it be included in its resources. Okay, so publishing on platforms it scrapes often is another way to be indexed. So it scrapes Medium, LinkedIn, GitHub, and academic sources. So if you are over there publishing and you got good stuff on your website, and on your website where you got good stuff, you're citing back to credible sites that are agreeing with you, you are most likely to be indexed by Perplexity. All right, cool beans. Number three, Google's AI overviews. So people are still Googling. It's decreasing, but they are still Googling. But if you'll notice, when you Google, the first thing you get is not a list of websites. The first thing you get is Google giving you a summary, right? And that summary is an AI generated overview. So Google's AI summaries rely heavily on Google search indexing and structured content. So to get included, your content needs to be indexed by Google search. It needs to use structured schema markup, and by schema, SCHEMA, research it, okay? Be mobile friendly and provide concise, authoritative summaries, or frequently asked questions. That keeps coming up more and more, y'all. Frequently asked questions. Now, being listed on high authority sites like news outlets or industry directories also boosts your inclusion odds, since the AI overviews prefer trusted sources. Okay? So that's what you need to be pulled into Google's AI search index. All right? Number 4, Bing. Microsoft ain't going nowhere, and that Microsoft Copilot, they get in the way of everything you trying to do on your computer. So Bing has AI, okay? And Bing AI pulls from Bing indexed websites and sources like LinkedIn, YouTube, and Microsoft owned data hubs. So to get noticed by Bing, you need to ensure that your site is indexed by Bing's webmaster tools. Include schema. Schema keeps coming up, so y'all gonna have to research that. I'm not as familiar with schema, just like you're not as familiar with schema. We all gonna research that. It keeps coming up. SCHEMA. Okay, so include schema for entities and frequently asked questions, and publish in multiple formats. So that could be blogs, PDFs, and video. So that could be one blog post has a video at the top, it has written word in the middle, and at the end it might have, you can download this PDF of all the same information. Got that? Got it. All right. Bing also favors sites with backlinks from Microsoft ecosystem sites like LinkedIn articles, GitHub, and places like that. Okay. And GitHub is spelled GITHUB. So cross publishing your blogs in different places helps a lot. Number 5 is going to be Gemini. That's Google's actual AI that's supposed to rival ChatGPT. So they have Gemini is their AI and their deep mind. Okay, so Gemini taps into Google's knowledge graph and structured, schematically clear content. So to be included, what you're gonna have to do is focus on clear topic clustering. Okay, which is basically blog series and content hubs around a single theme. Okay, if y'all will notice, I'm usually talking about the same things over and over. So my stuff is kind of clustered. I would just have to see about structuring my clusters. But y'all know I talk about business growth. I talk about sales. I talk about marketing. I talk about mindset, right? So all of that are my categories, but I need to see what I need to do to cluster them the way that Gemini wants it to be clustered. Okay. We need to add author bios and expertise signals. Okay. Now, there's a standard for doing that. Again, this is going to have to be something that you research, but it's called E-A-T. Okay. So it's like eat with 2 E's with dashes in between them. And that is the standard of author bio and expertise signaling that you need to be including in your content. Look it up, okay? And you need to be linking internally between related posts so Google connects your authority to specific questions. Now, today's blog, I have already connected it to 4 other blog posts. So that's how you kind of do it. You hyperlink your current blog post to past blog posts that are related and that you are referencing. Okay. Now let's go to number 6. It is Claude. Okay. Claude relies on a mix of web scraped, cited sources and data from integrated platforms like Notion and some specific APIs. And APIs is just how developers are pulling in other people's stuff into their stuff. Okay. So to get included with Claude, we want to publish highly structured, well cited content. The citations to trusted studies, government sources, or news outlets. Okay. We want to use plain language for our answers, and we want to consider publishing on platforms that it tends to scrape. Again, let's go back to Medium, GitHub, GITHUB, and academic sources. Okay. Then we're going to get into some that you didn't know were a thing, but they are. Okay. So U.com is an AI search engine. U.com favors structured, multi-format content like text, video, code, infographics. and often features sources directly in its summaries. Okay, so to get indexed, submit your site via u.com's publisher tools, make your site crawlable and fast loading, and offer bite-sized scannable answers in multiple formats. And again, that's going to be PDFs, video, and blog sections. Okay. Number 8, Neva AI. Neeva, Neva AI. And it's similar to like a AI meta search tool. Okay. So for Neva, it's customer facing product search tool is what it is. It's kind of like another one is called Brave Search AI. And what we do is it pulls from clean, structured, ad-free sources. Okay. Now, to be included for them, you have to submit your site to their search engine directly. You have to focus on concise, ad light or ad free content, and you need to get backlinks from respected sources or academic sites. So that's what it's looking for. Now, I said that Neva is kind of like Brave Search. Well, Brave Search is number 9. Okay. Brave Search AI summaries, they favor privacy first, independent sources. Okay. Privacy first, independent sources. So to get indexed by Brave Search, you're going to go to Brave Search and sign up. Okay. You're going to limit your pop-ups and your ads. Some of us have our blogs optimized for like Google AdSense and stuff like that. If you do, you're going to have to tone it down with that. Okay. And you're going to have to publish concise summaries and frequently asked questions for your content. So that's Brave Search AI summaries. It also likes things like free guides and infographics. Last but not least is Quora. It's AI. I think it's called Poe, Poe, but Quora is Quora, Poe. And so it uses multiple AI engines and prioritizes user-driven Q&A sources. So to get your content referenced by them, answer questions on Quora directly. Okay, link back to your sources without spamming, but your source can be your blog. So you could say something like, the answer to your question is this, but I speak about it in more detail in a blog post, and then your hyperlink. Okay. Then it says repurpose those answers as clean, concise content on your website, so Poe indexes it. So when you say get more details on my blog, make sure that blog is clean, concise as content. All right. No, those were the 10. I know it's a lot to absorb, but we are giving you something more to think about to get you ahead of the game, right? So in the past, we've talked about ChatGPT when it was new, and I told you what it was and how to use it as an entrepreneur. We've talked about AI tools because there are a whole bunch of AI tools, not just ChatGPT. And we broke it down to the areas of your business that there are AI tools for. So now what's on the horizon is a new type of search that you can come up in as an expert so that you get top tier clients. And so that's what we're diving into this week. Okay. Now I'm going to go back over the 10 without all the extra, but the questions of the day, because I had a few of them really. Let me drop it in the studio chat. Boom. There you go. Let me drop it in the YouTube chat. Hey, Shantali. Okay, so the questions of the day are, what are your thoughts on AEO? Do you see the value of AEO focused content? And I'm giving you these strategies. You've heard them. Do you hear any obstacles you might face in trying to implement these strategies to be found with AEO? So think about your answer. When I come back from the recap, we're going to start with Heather. Okay, so let me give you the recap without all the extra. And these are recapping the actual answer-driven AI tools that use AEO. Okay. So number 1 is going to be ChatGPT or OpenAI. Okay. Number 2 is going to be Perplexity. Number 3, Google's AI overviews. So that's that little summary section at the top when you're using regular Google. Okay. Number 4, Bing AI. Okay. Which is really Microsoft Copilot. Number 5 is Gemini, which is Google's version of ChatGPT. Number 6 is Claude. Number 7 is you.com. Number 8 is Neva AI. Number 9, Brave Search AI. Number 10, Quora Ho. Okay. So those are the 10 places that give AI driven answers to questions that you can then be indexed and your information can be used to answer the questions. All right. You're going to have to get the show notes from the day to get each of the how to get indexed by those, because we're not going back over that. Okay. Cool beans. Heather, what are your thoughts on this AEO stuff? Do you see the value of creating AEO focused content? And based on some of the strategies we talked about, have you identified an obstacle to you implementing those strategies to be found with AEO?
Well, yeah, of course, there's tons of value in it, especially as the world shifts more and more to using AI modeling to do
Yes.
everything that we need
Everything.
online.
Everything.
So whenever I write an article for myself or anybody else or whatever, for whatever audience, I always link back to um, sources that have much higher authority than I do, so
Yes.
that it can, help boost my authority at the same time. So I already do that. Um, but I think the only obstacle I have is myself. I just have to I have to have a sustainable posting schedule so that I'm actually creating the content that could potentially be scraped by these tools. So that's all on me. But the I never heard of half of this. Oh, I mean, big Gemini. Do you like Gemini? I don't like Gemini. Like,
I use it sometimes, and like sometimes when ChatGPT goes down, I'll go over there. If I can't seem to get what I need from ChatGPT, which is rare, I'll go over there just to see what they say, things like that. But it's not my primary tool at all. I don't even use it on average once a month.
yeah, same, because you can't train it the way you can ChatGPT. It's
Well, you can, but you have to do it in the chat,
yeah,
and you have to be very good at prompting to do so.
yeah, but that's a lot of
So
work.
yeah.
I like Chatty because Chatty's our friend and easy.
Of course, of course. All right. And with Heather saying that she does her citing and stuff already, don't y'all forget that Heather is a trained professional journalist. So yeah, citing comes easy for her because it is required in her line of work. But you guys need to start citing for higher authority too. Okay. Cool beans. Thank you, Heather. Let's go to Dr. Toya. Dr. Toya, what are your thoughts on this AEO stuff? Do you see the value in creating content that is focused for that? And do you have any obstacles to implementing some of the strategies we talked about to be found with AEO?
So I think that this is great and it makes perfect sense. But the thing that is currently coming to my mind is when my mama used to say, you don't have to go to every party you're invited to. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'm gonna have to sit this one out for a minute
Mm-hmm.
because it's just past my conceptual ability. That's not true.
Understood.
But this is one where I definitely would just hire somebody because that's too much. Backlink, all of the things, you know me, that's too much. But I see the value. I think that it would be absolutely useful, but I'm gonna stay in my lane and not go to this party just quite yet.
You don't want to be an early adopter. I get it. I get it.
Yes.
Uh, understood. Understood. All right. Let's go to Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, what are your thoughts on AEO? Do you see the value in creating AEO focused content? And with the strategies that we've kind of talked about, have you identified an obstacle to implementing those strategies to be found with AEO?
Of course, I see the value. No, I do not see an obstacle or any obstacles. I like all of it, the entire thing that you laid out, which, by the way, is schema. Um,
It
that
is, but I don't really have the words to explain to people what schema is. Like, I don't know how to break it down to, like, if I was with a fifth grader understand it, right? So
Well,
that's why I'm like,
Dr.
this
Tachi
is
seemed to.
schema. I keep saying schema, but I want you to research schema until you get the definition that works for you. So yeah.
right. Sorry, Heather.
No, I was going to say if you have an easy way to do it, because I feel like I understand it, like I have a feeling like I understand it, but I don't like like if you were to say what is schema, I'd be like right.
So, okay, it's funny when you on my ears perked up. I said schema. I know schema. So
Yep.
there are two definitions basically of schema. So schema is like a theoretical framework, right? That's one thing of it. So it's a
Very
bunch of
academic, right?
very academic, a bunch of approaches or theories that people have come up with that you use to figure out things. So that's what a theoretical framework is, which could also be called schema, which also includes all the data that you've researched, etc. But number two, if you look at it in a more psychological way, schema are the scripts that we make up in our head or that we have in our head when we put things and people in categories so that we know how to approach or react to the same situation or person next time.
Yeah.
So if you have a relationship and it goes badly, you put that in the schema in your head or the scheme in your head of things that are red flag relationship types. So the next time you encounter that same person or the same type of situation, you know how to react to that same thing. Does that make sense? Same
Yes.
thing like when you were little, and like I never did this, but my sister did, touched an iron after knowing that it was hot. The next time you're not going to touch the iron because you put this in the category in your head of things that will harm me and not feel good. So that's how we react with and navigate our way through the world through schema or these scripts in our heads that we put into categories. I hope that makes sense.
It does. And to go further with what I know, but it's still, I'll go a little further with what I know. So, schema is also where we get the word scheme and schematics from, right? So, it's
Right.
really a structure. And so when it comes to AEO, it's like, what is the structure of your content that's going to make it more likely to be pulled in and rank and all of that good stuff, right? And so to give you an example, when you guys are doing blog posts or contributing writing, and you have, your H1 title, and then you got subtitles, and then you got bullet points, and you got that's a schema, but what hangs me up is because I'm not an expert on AEO, I can't then give you a recommended schema for AEO. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want you guys to kind of research it on your own to come up with your own thoughts on what do you think the structure should be for your AEO content. But I am going to give you some of that on tomorrow when we start talking about what do you need to do to rank, because all we're talking about today is what to do to be indexed, to be considered. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about AEO ranking, which goes directly to some structure. So, yeah. But schema is a very academic word, and it some of it gets lost in translation. But thank you, Dr. Tachi, for starting us off with that understanding. I appreciate you. Um, Keith has put his answer in the chat, and he said, I really appreciate you bringing up AEO. I have to be honest, I need to do my homework on this while I start the general concept of optimizing for answer engines and voice search. I know there's so much more depth to it that I haven't fully explored yet. I'm committed to learning more about this because I can feel it's going to be important for where we're headed. Exactly. Now, some of y'all might feel like Dr. Toya, where you don't want to be an early adopter. You want to wait until some of us have gone through it and made it easier, know exactly what we're talking about and all the things. And I definitely get that. But some of us is like, now is the time to get in on it for everybody to get in on it. I want to be top of class by the time everybody else comes in. So either way, this conversation this week is to just bring it to mind, bring you in awareness of it, get you to start thinking about it, and getting you to understand that how some of the things that you're doing are going to be outdated at some point. Thank you for that, Keith. Let's go to Shawana. Shawana Kennedy Media. Our questions are, what are your thoughts on this AEO stuff? Do you see the value of creating AEO focused content? And do you have any obstacles to implementing some of the strategies that we've talked about to be found with AEO?
Yeah, this is juicy. You kicking it off as usual. Uh, I see something in every comment that has been made so far. It definitely can be if a person is saying, like, I was not laughing at Dr. Toya, but laughing with Dr. Toya, because
Yes.
then that's when you say, you're right. I'm going to have my
Mhm.
people in the back that's going to make sure that all this stuff is implemented in my things. What is unique for me is because, yes, I get to do some of this work for some of my clients. However, some of my clients actually do dibble and dabble in this that make me have to be where I can't just wait in the background. It
Yeah.
forces me, because they are touching things and asking questions about things. It
Yes.
forces me to have to be a part of the conversation. So this is great. It make you get you can clench your butt and your cheeks on your seat to say, now I gotta, okay, here we go,
Mhm.
and drink you another cup of coffee in order that I have to dive deep, especially because if you talking about it, that means it's in the streets. That means something is something is something.
Coming.
So when you start
Yes.
talking about it, it's kind of saying, God dog it, okay, I got to get ready to,
Mhm.
to basically, hello, take another class. And I appreciate it. So nothing is stopping me. It's just I have to tell my brain class is always in session. Just reminded that class is always in session. So yeah, this is a
Mhm.
great brain thing right early Monday morning. God dog you, Shay. God dog you.
I know, I know, I know. I kind of feel the same as Dr. Toya, but with me understanding that these types of things are hacks that put you ahead of everybody else without having to spend a lot of money, because we
Mhm.
all don't really have the money for paid traffic, and this is organic traffic in a different way, and if we can get ahead of it, it's worth our time, right? However, it also, you might have money making activities which are a priority right now, which makes this, trying to get started in this not the very top priority right now, as she said, right? But you need to start thinking about it, doing a little research at a time so that you can start doing small tweaks at a time, and you'll still be ahead of everybody else. Think about, we've been talking about Chat GPT for how many years now? At least two. And we are still, as early adopters, still ahead of everybody behind us. Everybody behind us is just now figuring out junk in, junk out, trash in, trash out. They over there using it, but they're not getting the best use of it because they don't really know what they're doing. So, yeah, this kind of stuff is amazing for business, especially for those of us that are looking for more and more organic reach. This is one of those things that will be worth our time when it's time.
And it
Cause
makes sense because I just have to add this because of the
mhm,
amazing class that we had on Saturday and the bonus
yeah,
that was yesterday. I have to say that because of me even thinking about the current things that are going on behind the scenes with my website. When you think
yeah,
about website designers, and all of these things, these are
mhm,
conversations that need to be had. So that's why I had to, like say that because of knowing what we just went over this weekend. So this
yeah.
is relevant as always.
It is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl said you've heard of it, right? What are your thoughts on it, though, Cheryl? Do you see the value in it? And some of the strategies that we talked about today, very light strategies, because again, this is just information I've dug up and compiled for you guys. I am not the expert on this stuff yet. But do you have any obstacles to some of those strategies that we've already talked about so that you could be found with AEO? And let me ask you to unmute. There you go. And Kimberly, if you're not going to come off the mic, put yours in the chat and I will share it. Cheryl, did you say you knew what it was and then go to sleep? Like what had happened? While we waiting on Cheryl, I'm going to come over here to YouTube. I'll come back to you, Kimberly. Just stay unmuted. Sony said, I'm familiar with ChatGPT, Bing, Gemini, and DeepSeek. None of the others, too many to keep up with. That's true. And she says she don't like Gemini either, in response to you, Heather. So I get it. I get it. Sony and Chantilly, if you want to put your answers to the questions in the YouTube chat before we stop being live, then I can share them with people. All right, Kimberly, you want to answer the question?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna answer it right. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I do like the thoughts of AEO because I have noticed, like you mentioned earlier, that when I Google something, it comes up on AI mode first and gives me the
Mhm.
answer. But what I also noticed is that it also puts the link to where they got the information from at the
Mhm.
bottom of the article, and I found myself clicking on that link, and it'll take me to to some website or wherever, you know, things like that. So I that's something that I would like to learn like now.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm like,
also, a lot of people now in the AI classes for like Chat GPT and all that stuff, they're being instructed to ask the AI tool where they got their information from. So that is another way that your link is going to come up if they pulled some information from you. So yeah, it's going to be very important in the future.
yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Anybody have any questions, a value add, or an aha moment about this AEO stuff? Cool. So, Shawana talked about it. Let us talk about it. If you missed the revenue reset summer boot camp, jumpstart your path to cash intensive that was this weekend, boy, did you miss something. Let me tell you, because I don't know what to say, but this intensive was as transformational for business revenue as the Foo Fighters, that tofu, mofu, bofu approach to organic marketing was revolutionary. So the best I can do is let you guys know when I make it an evergreen version of it and it becomes available. However, there are some people here now that were with me this weekend. So if anybody wants to come off the mic and talk about your experience with the Revenue Reset Summer Boot Camp, feel free to come off the mic and add anything that might have been an aha moment or game changing for you from this weekend.
I would like to add,
Okay.
yes. So it was excellent. Just brilliant, a brilliant piece of work. Seriously, I am still tired
I know, right?
from it. The first day was 4 hours, and it was just so full and rich of with information that I'm still processing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were talking about AI and prompting, the
Mm-hmm.
the we went through a whole series of prompting to get to an ultimate point, and we're still, not finished. There's a lot. She gave us a lot. So one thing that I got out of it was the type of conversations you have to have with you. People call her chatty. I call her Mrs. PT. So
Mm-hmm.
the kind of conversations I have to have with Mrs. PT to arrive at the answer that I actually need. So in addition
Mm-hmm.
to what we learned, it what secondarily was the way to structure things and the
Yeah.
conversations you need to have to get the answers that you need. So that's what I got out of it.
I love it. I love it. Anybody else want to speak on the summer boot camp intensive from over the weekend? I see that Keith had a another thought about AEO. He said, I really appreciate you bringing it up. I have to be honest. I need to do my homework on this. Me too. I need to do more homework. I've done a lot, but I need more. While I understand the general concept of optimizing for answer engines and voice search, I know so much more in depth. Yeah, we all got to do more, but I'm introducing it to us to let you know it's coming. Get your mind right. Get ready to start thinking differently for this next huge shift, right? All the things. So yeah, I appreciate that. Keith. All right. Let's go into what's happening this week in our free business mastermind group. Tonight, join us at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time to catch me on Dr. Tachi's Indie Soup Network for my interview with Shawana Kennedy Media on her show C-Suite CEO Chat, where we're going to talk about visibility, brand power, and showing up like a CEO. That's tonight. So go on YouTube, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, and find Indie Soup Media Network, and we will be broadcasting live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have our Fuck Up Night virtual happy hour. This is the only time you can share your particular business obstacles and get live coaching to get unstuck. So that is going to be on Thursday. So make sure you bring what's effing up in your business so we can talk about it over drinks. Okay. Cool beans. Friday is a get shit done work session. We got a value packed week this week in the membership. It's usually only for the paid membership, but the free group is invited on the second half. So A lot has happened today. I've introduced you to something I still want you to do your own research on, but this has been the Her First Six Figure Morning Show, which is an interactive coaching and training experience as part of our free business mastermind group that positions Black and brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. If you want to find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, plus links to resources like how to join our free business mastermind group and how to get the show notes from today and some past recent shows, go to the description below, all right? If you haven't already, you know you got value. Give me a thumbs up and like this episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and understand this is going to be one video in a 4-video series. So check out the other videos, all right? And with that, the studio is closing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.